changes our whole life. You know? I mean, it's a huge change. Instead of going out there sitting in the boat for 8 hours, rocking 60-degree snap rolls, we go out in a helicopter in 15 minutes. We're on board the ship on the bridge. Instead of having a pilot arrives out there like he's been 9 rounds with Mike Tyson, the guy arrives on deck, ready to go. It's a kick. It's unbelievable. If you've done it the other way, going this way, it's just unbelievable. When they first decided they were going to automate, they put outboard motors in the back of the boats. And the pilots were so stubborn, they continued to make them row. You know, the motor hanging in the back, and they've got it in there rowing. And you think about that, in 35 years we've gone from oars to helicopters. That's a pretty amazing step. It really is. And then they brought a boat called the Peacock here from Germany, and it was just absolute cutting edge. Matter of fact, even now, it's old, it's 30-some years old, still, where you launch a boat out the back, go alongside with a small daughter boat. It's amazing. I mean, it really is. Even to this day, it's the only one around.
So, the pilot will release the boat by pulling on a lanyard there. He checks with the operator, and he pulls, and the boat launches off. Generally, as the ship is approaching the pilot station, we will radio instructions to them for a course to steer, which will essentially put the ship between the boat and the incoming weather. In this particular case, it was difficult because we did not have the wind and the seas coming from the same direction, and that's why it's so choppy. Now, at this point, there's a danger of the ship rolling onto the daughter boat, and there's also a danger of the daughter boat flipping and putting both men and the boat in the water. And again, what he's trying to do is grab the ladder when the boat is on the crest of a wave and let the boat fall below him. There he goes. Now the boat stands off for a moment to make sure that the pilot gets up safely. If he falls into the drink, the boat wants to be there to pick him up. Now the retrieval process is tricky too. These boat operators have to be highly skilled. And what he will try to do is bring the boat into the notch of the mother boat. And when he gets that, one of the operators on the mother boat will hook into the nose of the daughter boat and winch it aboard.
Now we're going into helicopters. But the bar has always been the place where these new ideas started. All the way from the very beginning when Flavel was here. And they'd lost 1,000 ships on the Columbia River bar. And he went out there with a tugboat. And instead of trying to sail across the bar, he went out there and hooked onto him with a tugboat and towed him across. Cornered the market, started bar piles. That's 152 years ago.
That was real sailing ships.
They're the regular sailing ships. They were heading for Portland, but they go out there and hook onto him with a tug. He got a tug. Suddenly they weren't losing them. They weren't strewn up and down the Oregon coast. And so it's we've always been in the front run of this thing. Everything changing over to motorized boats, going to gasoline and diesel engines. Always been there. So right now, this is a big change for us here. He'll be flying. He'd still be working if we had this helicopter when you left, right?
I should have known what was going to happen. Yeah, I'd still be here.
He was the first one to actually go out and go onto a ship. You landed on a ship. What was it, in the early '80s, right?
86. We popped on a ship.
I think it was. Yeah, I retired about '89. Yeah, it was about '86. I came on the bar about 36 years ago,
Were they still using the rowing boats when you came on?
Yeah, we were using the rowing boats, but they had just converted to the outboard motors. They had a well in the boat, and they stuck the motor in that.
So, is that story true then, that some of the pilots still made them row even though they had the motors down there? That's what the boat operators tell us.
Well, those outboard motors in those days weren't that reliable. So every once in a while they'd break down and they'd have to go to the oars. Maybe you think that wasn't fun. Because, the ships had to be at just a certain speed that you keep up with them. You had to rig a line so you could grab it to hold a boat alongside the ladder. Those were tough days.
Yeah.